Okay, so for start, you came up with this great idea and shared it with me a couple of weeks ago, and now you have implemented this. And I want to know, what's the idea and how did you think of this idea?
Okay, so during one of our trainings, Lana was out here teaching HACCP. And during that HACCP, somehow the glove shortage got brought up. And Lana reminded us that there are certain products in our kitchens that require cooking that we can prep with no gloves. And from there, I don't think I paid attention to Lana the rest of the time because my mind was brainstorming. I was like, that is an excellent idea. We have to do this. It's something we've never practiced. It's hard for people who work in kitchens to prep without gloves. It doesn't feel natural. So by the end of the day, I was ordering every crazy product Labatt could offer me to substitute gloves. Of course, I had to wait, and waiting was just killing me for the delivery. So we started with utensils, trying utensils after the prep was cooked, after the products were cooked.
Right.
And we found that all of our tongs were scalloped, and they did more damage to our products than I ever thought they would.
Oh, wow.
And so I was like, oh my gosh, let's try the flat tongs. Well, then the flat tongs weren't really built for prep in the back. They're more for catering, show.
Grasping things.
Yes.
Right.
They're not spring loaded. Clunky. Yes. And so those didn't work either. So with the products that I ordered from Labatt, which was any kind of bag that I thought we could use, that became our go-to. Those worked. When the delivery came, at first it felt really unnatural, but we figured if you put your hand in there at an angle and go in the corner, it was a fantastic substitution.
That's awesome.
And then what I really loved was they cost only a half a cent a piece. And with some of the quotes that I have gotten from Labatt, the cases of gloves are $125 or $113, which made them 23 cents a pair.
Yeah, expensive.
The nitrile gloves from DeSoto Janitorial were $125. That was 25 cents a pair. But most of the gloves came in at $280 a case, which was 56 cents a pair to throw away. And you know we throw tons away a day.
Right. And
so I removed all the gloves from the kitchen except the serving area. And I forced them to use the baggies. It was tough at first.
I think it's when you told me this idea, I flipped out. I really did. I thought, how ingenious, you know, because you made a comment that you had cut down your need for actual gloves by 75%.
Yes.
And talk about a huge savings on your budget.
Yes.
I mean, that is amazing. And I'm sure the staff on the front line, they don't need to rip the gloves off and throw them away as often.
Not as frequently, no.
Right.
Yeah. So
that is amazing.
They typically will wear maybe 2 pairs of lunch service because really they're not touching the food any longer. It's already been prepped for them. So all they're really doing is shoving stuff up towards the students or just replacing trays.
Okay.
So they really don't have any food contact up on the line. It's very minimal. And those who do change as required, but it's very minimal. So I feel like just to be discomforted for hopefully a short while,
yes,
we can still do our job efficiently, you know, and effectively. So that is the main goal.
So tell me, has the amount of time it takes to put together the same number of lunches, and I know there's not a same number of lunches going on today as it was last year at this time, but in comparison, has it affected production time?
Well,
and if so, by how much?
When we were using utensils or trying to go 100% utensils, it was it really slowed down our prep. Yeah. And when I stood over them watching, and of course they were attempting it and not complaining, but I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to be here till tomorrow doing these counting out nuggets and putting them in a boat. So I was like, no, good. We got to switch this up. So we did. And every day has been a learning curve for various products. So, but I think they've gotten it down now. We've been practicing it since last Thursday when our baggies came in.
They look pretty good in there when I was filming earlier.
They're getting more comfortable. They're getting more comfortable. I've had a couple ask me if they could buy their own gloves, and of course the answer is no.
Right.
So we're not going to bring any outside products in. So
right. The safety is the factor, number one factor.
Oh,
here.
Absolutely. And so first off, I asked her, well, where are you buying gloves? You know.
Right. I don't see gloves anywhere. I mean,
no.
I'm in the stores.
Yes.
You know.
But
so let's talk about safety for a minute, because I know you reached out to your health inspector.
Oh, yes.
Out of concern that what you are about to implement may or may not pass health code.
Yes.
So share with me what your health inspector explained to you.
So before I even ordered any of these baggies, plastic bags, I did call my local health inspector, and I asked her, what does food safety gloves mean? I, had the mindset that I had to buy only gloves that had the word food on them, and that is not correct. She told me the gloves you use to paint, the gloves in the auto parts store at Walmart are safe to use. She said as long as they are 100% plastic or latex or nitrile, as long as they're plastic and have no porous to them whatsoever, which she referred to as a cloth type glove or a gardening glove.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
Something washable. She said she was perfectly fine with us using a baggie. She thought it was pretty ingenious herself.
Yeah.
She would not approve the hand washing latex gloves, the ones you use for dishwashing.
Really?
She said that she didn't feel that we could get those sanitary, and how would we know whose gloves belong to who?
Right.
And so,
well, not to mention, those are kind of pricey as well.
Yes.
I mean, you might be able to find in bulk a little bit cheaper, but I would say they were probably up there with just the regular gloves now.
Yes. She felt like if we washed the gloves in between every prep style, that she didn't feel we would get them clean enough to be satisfactory, and we certainly want to eliminate all concerns about food safety. So immediately that went out the window. But she approved us using the baggies because they were made of plastic.
Right.
So
very nice.
Yeah. So I was tickled when she gave me the go ahead.
I imagine.
I hit
and half
order.
a great idea.
Yes.
Now the bags you're using, those are just the thin sandwich bags with a fold over top. It's not a Ziploc bag. It's not anything super heavy. So it makes it easy for them to have that dexterity inside the little sandwich bag.
Yes.
Okay.
They're called a saddle bag. They actually are the flip over sandwich bags like you buy at the grocery store.
Right.
And we made sure that Labatt had plenty on hand before we went down this road.
Of course.
That they weren't going to run out of these bags. And I believe at the time they told us they had, 1,000 cases. And I was like, oh, that's sweet. That, at least they're available.
Yes. And I'm sure that's something they can bring in more often, because we can only speak for Labatt, but I hear from other distributors.
The districts. But those saddle bags, you get 2,000 saddle bags, which is 1,000 pair of gloves.
Nice.
For $9.
Oh.
Or $8.50. It just depends. We bought the ones that say hamburger. We bought the ones that said chicken. It doesn't matter. A glove, a glove substitutes a glove. Yes.
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 They're just doing their thing back there.
Yes, they are. So
wonderful.
Yep.
Thank you, Kam,
you're
for
welcome.
allowing me to come and interview you about this transition. And we're going to meet with one or two of your staff people here in a minute and find out how it's going for them.
All right. I appreciate you coming out. Thank you.
Thanks, Kam.
Bye.
Okay, so I am now sitting with 4 of Kam's employees, and we are going to find out how this new transition is going for them. So first, I want to ask you guys, what was your reaction when Kam said, no more gloves, we can't get them, and I have a plan to use utensils and plastic sandwich baggies? So anyone can chime in here and tell me, how did you feel? As they're all laughing like, oh, no way.
And you're like, what? They have clubs everywhere. They have clubs at HEB, but due to the situation, we can manage. We're getting along, doing fine.
Yeah, it was hard at the beginning, but it's gotten easier to kind of adjust to. I mean, it's part of the job, so changes come pretty much all the time. So
yes, that is one thing we can guarantee is change will happen, and it will happen again, probably tomorrow, every day. So share with me your experience. Now, I know some of you are sort of using a utensil and a what I'm calling the food service mitt now, because it's really not a glove, it's like a mitten. So talk about, I think you were doing the salads?
Yes.
Okay, share your experience with that.
Well, it's been difficult at first, but you know, you keep doing it, and you get used to it. You know, you gotta do what you need to do to get the job done.
So did you have to sort of retrain your brain? Like, okay, left hand is utensil, I can touch this with that, and right hand, I can touch this. Is it difficult?
Yes, it took me a bit, but I got it. I got it done.
So you're going to become more ambidextrous. You realize this, right?
Yes, I am.
Now, how about any of you want to share your experience?
It was the only thing is sometimes the fruit gets slippery, but you know, you just kind of have to deal with it, and you just have to adjust. But I'm getting faster again, so it's not too bad. You know?
Okay. Now, I do have to ask, are each of you always kind of on the same food line, so to speak? I mean, so you're always kind of doing salads,
Yes,
you're always dealing with the fruit. Okay, so you each have a dedicated.
Yes, I do nuggets every day.
Right, you do have nuggets. So
Yes, ma'am.
what was the trickiest part with the nuggets?
Ooh, I had a bit of a little issue, kind of having to, which we do the same thing with gloves. You constantly change the gloves out. So getting the nuggets out, then you're having to try to get the bag, try to cut it, then take the bag out, then you're spreading them on the tray. Then you have to try to put the tray on a rack, then you gotta take them off. So it's okay, I guess, when I'm tossing with the Frank's hot sauce. It's kind of rough there because I have to kind of double bag to make sure that it doesn't poke through, and then I kind of handle them pretty rough, so I see how long they'll last.
Right.
So I'm adjusting to it pretty well, though. I'm
Okay.
adjusting to it pretty well.
So has there been a food item that you've seen with maybe some of your coworkers that was really a challenge using the new food service mitt? I'm going to coin that phrase, by the way. You realize this, right?
Everybody's pretty much adjusted to it. Because once you kind of adjust it to your hand, which how it's most comfortable. Some people like to put their finger like sideways, put it on. Me, I just put it on like a glove, and then I fasten it tight around my wrist.
Okay.
So that it kind of never moves or adjusts or anything like that.
Right. And I did see one when Kam first got the sandwich bags in, trying to use tape. And I thought, oh, this is going to go slow for you guys. But you're not using tape. You're just putting them on your hands and just jumping right in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you want to add about this new norm?
Just have to go with the flow.
Yeah,
Right.
It's different. It's
It's different.
different, but I mean, it kind of, for me, it kind of let me know like that I don't actually have to depend on the gloves, and then it helps. I think it has helped more with making sure that hands are washed properly. I think that's a positive thing. Hands are washed more properly, more consistently. I think it's another good part of it.
Right.
Kam's been pushing it pretty much, just kind of making sure that we're washing time-wise, making sure that you kind of got the right technique when you're washing and everything like that.
Right. Like a doctor.
Yeah.
All right, there you have it. We are here at Waxahachie
Hey, I wish you
and
would've said we
making it work.